Hey, Steelers Nation. We're back with an exclusive video packed with the latest updates on our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. This way, you'll never miss any exclusive updates or exciting Steelers news. Mike Tomlin slammed his authority on the table in a way that people inside the organization say had not been seen in a long time. And when that kind of tension comes from a coach known for control, patience, and internal discipline, the entire city starts to buzz. The rumor, circulating through locker room whispers and behind closed doors, is that Tomlin reached a breaking point after what insiders describe as a final straw moment involving Darnell Washington. No one is saying this was about a single play or a single mistake, but rather a slow burn of frustration that finally exploded. The narrative being shared quietly is that Tomlin felt the tight and no longer embodied the standard he demands from every player wearing black and gold. This is not about talent, because everyone knows Washington's physical presence is impossible to ignore. This is about trust, commitment, and execution within the structure of the team. When a coach like Tomlin feels that trust slipping, the reaction can be swift and unforgiving. According to speculation, his message was direct, emotional, and impossible to misinterpret, leaving staff members stunned by the intensity. Pittsburgh is not used to this type of internal shakeup, especially involving a young player once viewed as part of the future core. What makes this rumor even louder is the symbolism attached to Darnell Washington himself. Known as Mount Washington, he arrived with expectations of dominance, toughness, and reliability, all traits that historically define Steelers football. The speculation suggests that Tomlin believes the nickname became heavier than the performance, that the presence remained intimidating while the impact diminished in crucial moments. People close to the situation claimed the coach questioned whether Washington truly understood his role or if personal expectations had started to outweigh team priorities. This kind of disconnect is poison in a locker room built on collective identity. Tomlin's philosophy has always been about accountability over reputation, and the whispers say this was a textbook example of that principle in action. The tight end position demands sacrifice, blocking in silence, absorbing contact without headlines, and insiders say Tomlin felt that balance was lost. Whether fair or not, perception matters, and once a head coach's perception shifts, reversing it becomes incredibly difficult. Pittsburgh fans are now left wondering if this is the beginning of an irreversible separation. The shock does not come only from the decision itself, but from the timing and the firmness with which it was allegedly delivered. Rumor has it that Tomlin did not want discussions, excuses, or long explanations. He wanted clarity, and he wanted it immediately. Staff members reportedly felt the air change, that unmistakable moment when leadership draws a hard line. For a franchise known for stability, this feels seismic. Speculation continues that Tomlin feared keeping Washington around under these circumstances could send the wrong message to the rest of the roster. The Steelers have long preached that no player is bigger than the shield, and allowing perceived complacency would undermine decades of culture. This is where the story becomes less about Washington and more about Tomlin protecting the identity of the team. The rumor mill suggests that younger players were watching closely, understanding that effort and alignment matter more than draft status or physical gifts. In that sense, the decision becomes a warning shot to everyone else. Pittsburgh may be calm on the surface, but beneath it, change is rumbling. There is also speculation about internal conversations that happened long before this moment. Some believe Tomlin had been monitoring Washington's progression closely, looking for growth not only on the field, but in preparation habits and responsiveness to coaching. The whispers suggest frustration built slowly, layered by missed assignments, inconsistent intensity, and moments where trust eroded. None of this is confirmed, but the story being told is that Tomlin values reliability above all else. When a tight end becomes unpredictable in execution, it disrupts the entire offensive rhythm. Pittsburgh's system relies on cohesion, and one weak link can ripple through multiple positions. Those close to the situation say Tomlin felt forced into a corner, choosing between maintaining harmony or addressing the issue decisively. In his mind, delay would only amplify the problem. That is why the rumored reaction was so strong, almost theatrical, because it was meant to reset expectations instantly. Fans may debate whether this is too harsh, but within the Steelers' mindset, decisive leadership is rarely questioned. As the city reacts, speculation grows about what this means for Washington's future. Some believe this could be a wake-up call, a moment designed to humble and refocus a player still early in his professional journey. Others think the bridge may already be burning, with Tomlin unwilling to revisit a decision once his confidence is broken. Pittsburgh has never been a place where players coast on potential alone. The whispers say Tomlin would rather move forward with less talent, but full buy-in and gamble on upside, pair with uncertainty. This philosophy has defined his tenure and earned respect across the league. Whether Washington can realign himself with that standard remains the central question. For now, the rumor has already reshaped conversations around the team, shifting focus from schemes and matchups to leadership and accountability. The silence from official channels only fuels speculation further. In the end, this story feels bigger than one tight end or one emotional reaction. It feels like a reminder of how quickly things can change when expectations are not met in Pittsburgh. Tomlin's rumored stance sends a message that tradition is not decorative, is enforced. The shockwaves are still spreading, and fans are dissecting every possible implication. Is this the beginning of a roster reset, or a calculated power move to reassert control? No one knows for sure, but the speculation alone has already altered the narrative around the team. When a coach like Mike Tomlin draws a line, history suggests it is not done lightly. Whether this moment becomes a footnote or a defining turning point will depend on what happens next. But one thing is certain, Pittsburgh is listening, and the locker room will never hear silence the same way again. The second part of this rumor only deepens the intrigue because insiders now suggest that Tomlin's decision was not fueled by anger alone, but by a strategic vision for where the team is heading. According to speculation, the coach believes the Steelers are at a crossroads where identity matters more than individual development projects. Darnell Washington, in this narrative, represents a fork in the road. Do you continue investing patience in a player who is not fully aligned with expectations, or do you reinforce the standard by making an uncomfortable move? The whispers say Tomlin chose the latter without hesitation. This is not unusual for him, but it feels heavier because of Washington's physical profile and perceived upside. Some inside the building reportedly felt uneasy, not because they disagreed, but because they understood the gravity of the message. This was not a punishment, it was a declaration. Tomlin was allegedly reminding everyone that the Steelers do not negotiate effort, preparation, or mental toughness. In that context, the move becomes symbolic rather than personal. Speculation also points to internal leadership dynamics that may have influenced the situation. There are rumors that veteran voices within the locker room quietly supported Tomlin's stance, believing consistency matters more than protecting feelings. In Pittsburgh, leadership often operates through unspoken understanding rather than public confrontation. If Washington was drifting from that shared understanding, the response would be swift. Some believe Tomlin sensed a subtle shift in accountability, a moment where standards were being tested. Coaches at this level are experts at reading rooms, and the story circulating is that Tomlin saw a need to reestablish authority before small issues grew larger. By drawing such a hard line, he may have been addressing not only Washington, but everyone watching. The tight end position simply became the focal point of a broader cultural correction. That interpretation changes how the move is perceived, turning controversy into calculated leadership. There's also talk about how this decision could reshape the offensive philosophy moving forward. Darnell Washington was seen as a unique piece, a physical mismatch capable of altering defensive schemes. Losing that presence, even temporarily, forces adaptation. However, insiders claim Tomlin values cohesion over specialization. If a player cannot be trusted to execute consistently, the scheme itself becomes fragile. The rumors suggest Tomlin would rather simplify and rely on dependable execution than build around unpredictable talent. This mindset aligns with Pittsburgh's historical approach, favoring stability over flash. Critics may argue this limits offensive ceiling, but supporters believe it raises the floor. In a league obsessed with potential, Tomlin appears focused on certainty. That contrast is at the heart of this unfolding narrative. Washington's situation becomes a case study in how the Steelers prioritize reliability in an era driven by highlight culture. As speculation spreads, fans are split between shock and understanding. Some feel the decision is too severe, believing young players need time and guidance rather than ultimatums. Others see it as classic Pittsburgh, a reminder that standards are non-negotiable. The silence from Tomlin himself only amplifies the mystery. He has always preferred actions over explanations, allowing results to speak louder than press conferences. This fuels the rumor mill even further, as every practice rep and personnel decision becomes scrutinized. Washington's absence or limited role, if it continues, will be interpreted as confirmation. In Pittsburgh, perception quickly becomes reality. The fan base is now watching closely, not just for performance, but for body language, rotations, and subtle signals that reveal the truth behind the speculation. What complicates the story is Washington's background as a proven winner at the collegiate level. People close to him reportedly believe he has the mentality to respond, that this moment could ignite a transformation rather than mark an exit. The question is whether Tomlin is willing to reopen the door once it feels closed. Historically, he respects players who respond with humility and renewed commitment. If Washington can realign himself fully with expectations, redemption is not impossible. However, the rumor suggests Tomlin does not compromise easily once trust is questioned. This tension creates a dramatic storyline that could define both careers moving forward. One side represents authority and culture, the other represents potential and pride. How these forces collide will shape the next chapter. Ultimately, this rumored decision highlights why Mike Tomlin remains one of the most respected and feared coaches in professional football. He is not swayed by hype, noise, or outside pressure. He operates on principles refined over years of leadership. Whether Darnell Washington remains part of the Steelers' story or becomes a cautionary tale, the message has already been sent. Pittsburgh is a place where expectations are real and consequences follow. This situation, real or rumored, reinforces the identity of the franchise. For fans, it is unsettling yet familiar. For players, it is a reminder that the shield comes first. And for Tomlin, it is another chapter in a career defined by decisive moments that shape more than just a season. They shape a culture. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors swirling around the Steelers organization suggest that this moment with Darnell Washington may not just affect him individually, but could trigger a subtle shift in how the team evaluates young talent moving forward. Some insiders whisper that Tomlin is sending a message to all rookies and second-year players. No matter how big your name, no matter how much potential you carry, the standard is the standard, and alignment with the team comes before personal acclaim. Sources close to the locker room hint that this philosophy has always existed, but rarely has it been enforced with such a visible target. The speculation is that this approach will ripple through practices, meetings, and even off-field behavior, subtly pressuring everyone to either fully buy in or risk being sidelined. Pittsburgh fans are beginning to understand that in Tomlin's world, disruption is not tolerated, and accountability is public even if the reasoning behind decisions remains private. Observers suggest that the tight-end situation will become a benchmark for how leadership evaluates commitment versus talent in the months ahead, shaping the careers of younger players who might have previously relied on potential alone. Meanwhile, the rumor mill indicates that internal reactions among teammates are mixed, with some quietly supportive and others concerned about morale. Sources speculate that veteran players may see the move as necessary reinforcement of team culture, while younger players may feel unsettled by the sudden intensity. The chatter suggests that Tomlin, fully aware of the psychological impact, may be testing the mental resilience of the roster, gauging who can thrive under pressure and who might crumble. This approach, insiders say, is not about punishment. It's about leadership, clarity, and shaping a group capable of consistent performance. The whispers imply that while Washington's departure or diminished role would grab headlines, the real story is the unseen influence on practice dynamics, leadership hierarchies, and peer accountability. Every snap, every route, every moment on the practice field now carries a little more weight, and players are reportedly sensing that the margin for error has shrunk. Finally, speculation continues to suggest that the implications extend beyond the locker room into broader organizational strategy. People close to the situation hint that Tomlin may be signaling to front office decision-makers, scouts, and even agents that the Steelers' culture cannot be compromised for potential alone. The whispers paint a picture of a coach who is not just making a personnel decision, but reinforcing an identity, one that prioritizes discipline, cohesion, and accountability above all else. If the rumors hold true, Washington's story becomes emblematic of a broader principle. In Pittsburgh, no individual, no matter how talented, is bigger than the system. Fans and analysts are now left piecing together every subtle cue from practices, interviews, and social media behavior, looking for signs of what comes next. The speculation has already shifted the narrative, turning what might have been a simple personnel adjustment into a storyline about leadership, culture, and the unforgiving standards of a franchise that has thrived on toughness, consistency, and uncompromising expectations for decades. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.